In 1992, Sister Act became one of the most beloved comedies of all time. 30 years later, the cast's real lives are far more dramatic than the movie itself. From superstardom to silence, here's what really happened to the Sister Act cast. Then and now. Bill Nunn as Eddie Souther. Bill Nunn was born on October 20th, 1953 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a city that deeply shaped both his life and career. He was 38 years old when he portrayed Eddie Souther, the kind-hearted and principled police officer who protects Dolores in Sister Act, 1992. Before that warm and reassuring role, Nunn had already built a powerful reputation through collaborations with Spike Lee, beginning with School Daze, 1988, and gaining wider recognition in Do the Right Thing, 1989. These performances established him as an actor capable of conveying quiet strength, moral conflict, and emotional depth, traits that naturally carried into Sister Act, where his character represented trust and safety amid chaos. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, Nunn continued working steadily in films such as New Jack City and Spider-Man, often cast as authority figures with an underlying humanity. However, behind the scenes, he was facing a far more serious and private battle with his health. Bill Nunn passed away on September 24, 2016, at his home in Pittsburgh's Hill District, at the age of 62. The cause of death was leukemia, a diagnosis he kept mostly out of the public eye. Kathy Najimy, as Sister Mary Patrick. Kathy Najimy was born on February 6, 1957, in San Diego, California, into a Lebanese-American family. She was 35 years old when she played Sister Mary Patrick in Sister Act, 1992, the joyful, childlike nun whose infectious energy became one of the film's most memorable highlights. Born Kathy Najimy, she entered Hollywood with sharp comedic talent but quickly faced a harsh reality. Her body type limited the roles she was offered. After Sister Act and Hocus Pocus, 1993, she was often typecast as the funny side character, while leading roles slipped out of reach. Behind the scenes, Najimy openly struggled with body image pressure and the emotional toll of an industry obsessed with appearance, a battle that shaped both her career choices and personal confidence. In the late 1990s, she found stability through marriage to musician Dan Finnerty and the birth of their daughter, yet the relationship ended in divorce in 2016. Professionally, she reinvented herself through voice acting, most notably as Peggy Hill on King of the Hill, a role that quietly became one of her longest and most respected achievements. As of 2026, Kathy Najimy is 69 years old. She remains active in voice work, advocacy, and public speaking, standing as a rare example of an actress who turned typecasting, personal doubt, and industry bias into long-term creative survival. Wendy Makkena as Sister Mary Robert. Wendy Makkena, born on October 4, 1958, in New York City, New York, and trained in classical theater before stepping into film. She was 33 years old when she played Sister Mary Robert in Sister Act, 1992, portraying the shy, soft-spoken nun whose hidden singing talent symbolized quiet transformation and inner courage. Born Wendy Makkena, she gained sudden visibility from Sister Act and its sequel, yet fame did not open the doors many expected. Despite her breakout performance, Hollywood offered few substantial roles, pushing her toward projects like Airborne, 1993, and Tom and Viv, 1994, where her work was often overshadowed. As the industry shifted in the late 1990s, Makkena gradually stepped away from mainstream film, choosing instead to focus on stage work, television appearances, and family life. As of 2026, Wendy Makkena is 67 years old. She lives largely outside the Hollywood spotlight, occasionally appearing in theater and television. Mary Wickes as Sister Mary Lazarus. Born on June 13, 1910, Mary Wickes was born in St. Louis, Missouri, and built a career that spanned more than 5 decades. She was 81 years old when she appeared as Sister Mary Lazarus in Sister Act, 1992, the sharp-tongued, no-nonsense nun whose dry humor grounded the film's lighter moments. Long before Sister Act, Wickes was already a familiar face in classic Hollywood, with notable roles in White Christmas, 1954, and as the voice of Lady Cluck in Disney's Robin Hood, 1973. While her career was steady, it was rarely glamorous, defined instead by dependable supporting roles that kept her working but seldom celebrated. By the early 1990s, Sister Act unexpectedly brought her late career recognition, introducing her to a new generation of viewers just as her health was beginning to fail. In her final years, Wickes suffered from multiple illnesses that required frequent hospitalization. During one hospital stay, she fell and fractured her hip, an injury that proved devastating at her age. Complications following hip surgery led to her death on October 22, 1995. Mary Wickes passed away at the age of 85. Maggie Smith as Mother Superior. Born December 28, 1934, Maggie Smith was born in Ilford, Essex, England, and rose through classical theater before conquering film. She was 57 years old when she portrayed Mother Superior in Sister Act, 1992, delivering a restrained, commanding performance that balanced moral authority with quiet vulnerability. Long before Sister Act, Smith was already an acclaimed actress, earning major recognition through films such as The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie and A Room with a View. In January 1988, years before joining the cast of Sister Act, she was diagnosed with Graves' disease, undergoing radiation treatment and eye surgery, an early warning that her career would be shadowed by recurring health battles. Yet she continued working relentlessly, later appearing in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, 2001, even as her strength was being tested. In 2007, during the height of her global fame from the Harry Potter franchise, Smith was diagnosed with breast cancer. She completed chemotherapy while continuing to act, refusing to step away from her profession. Her later success in Downton Abbey proved her resilience, turning illness into a quiet footnote rather than a defining end. Maggie Smith passed away on September 27, 2024, at Chelsea and Westminster Hospital in London. She was 89 years old. Harvey Keitel as Vince LaRocca. Born May 13, 1939, Harvey Keitel was born in Brooklyn, New York. He was 53 years old when he portrayed mafia boss Vince LaRocca in Sister Act, 1992, a role that demanded quiet menace rather than explosive violence, reflecting his mature, controlled screen presence. Before joining Sister Act, Keitel had already cemented his status as a powerhouse actor through collaborations with Martin Scorsese in Taxi Driver, 1976, and Mean Streets, 1973. Yet off-screen, the 1980s and early 1990s were among the most turbulent periods of his life. From 1982 to 1993, he was locked in a bitter, highly publicized custody battle with actress Lorraine Bracco over their daughter, a decade-long legal war that drained him emotionally and disrupted his personal stability. During that same period, Keitel later admitted he was battling cocaine addiction, describing it as a shared era of pain and self-destruction. In the early 1990s, as he fought to regain control of his life, his performances grew darker and more intense, culminating in critically acclaimed roles such as Bad Lieutenant, 1992. As of 2026, Harvey Keitel is 87 years old and largely retired from acting, making only rare appearances. Whoopi Goldberg as Dolores Van Cartier. Whoopi Goldberg, born November 13, 1955, in New York City. She was 36 years old when she starred as Dolores Van Cartier in Sister Act, 1992, the fearless lounge singer whose humor and heart turned the film into a cultural phenomenon. Goldberg had already reached a career peak just 1 year earlier when she won the Academy Award for Ghost, 1990. In 1991, at the height of that success, she publicly revealed deeply personal truths, including having had an abortion and struggling for years as a functioning drug addict. She later admitted to smoking marijuana before accepting her Oscar, a confession that shocked audiences but reframed her image as radically honest rather than carefully managed. Throughout the 1990s, Goldberg transformed personal chaos into creative momentum, expanding her range with projects like The Color Purple and Sister Act 2. Living with dyslexia, she had learned early to rely on memory and instinct, turning a learning disability into an unconventional strength. In March 2019, her resilience was tested again when she suffered from severe pneumonia and sepsis, forcing her to step away from the view and confront her own mortality. As of 2026, Whoopi Goldberg is 70 years old. She continues to appear on television and in film selectively. Joseph Maher as Bishop O'Hara. Joseph Maher, born February 12, 1933, in Westmeath, Ireland, built his career after emigrating to the United States, where his sharp wit and commanding presence defined his work. He was 59 years old when he portrayed Bishop O'Hara in Sister Act, 1992, bringing quiet authority and subtle humor to a role that anchored the church's moral tension. Born and trained in theater, Maher spent years refining his craft before mainstream recognition arrived through television, most notably as John Bosworth on Cheers, where his performance revealed a rare balance of intellect and vulnerability. In the 1990s, Sister Act placed him before a global audience, followed by acclaimed work in and Out, 1997, proving his late career momentum was still rising. In his final years, Maher battled a brain tumor, an illness he kept largely private while continuing to work as long as possible. Joseph Maher passed away at his home in Los Angeles, California, on July 17, 1998. He was 64 years old, leaving behind a legacy shaped by intelligence, restraint, and a career that reached its peak just as time ran out. Jenifer Lewis as Michelle Bourne, January 25, 1957. Jenifer Lewis was born in Kinloch, Missouri. She was 35 years old when she played Michelle, Dolores's sharp-tongued friend, in Sister Act, 1992, injecting humor and loyalty into a role that mirrored her natural comedic intensity. Before and after Sister Act, Lewis became one of Hollywood's most reliable supporting actresses, appearing in films like What's Love Got to Do with It, and later voicing iconic characters in Disney's The Princess and the Frog. Yet behind her prolific career was a lifelong battle with bipolar disorder, marked by cycles of manic depression and compulsive sexual behavior. For decades, these struggles affected her relationships, stability, and sense of self, a pain she later detailed with brutal honesty in her memoir, The Mother of Black Hollywood. As the years passed, Lewis turned survival into advocacy, speaking openly about mental health and recovery while continuing to work. In 2022, her resilience was tested again when she fell nearly 10 feet from a dark hotel balcony into a rocky ravine while traveling in Africa. The accident nearly killed her, leaving her with severe injuries and a long, painful rehabilitation. As of 2026, Jenifer Lewis is 69 years old. She remains active in entertainment and public advocacy, continuing to share her hard-earned wisdom shaped by decades of fame. Ellen Albertini Dow as Sister Mary Lazarus. Born November 16, 1913, Ellen Albertini Dow was born in Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania. She was 78 years old when she appeared in Sister Act, 1992, as one of the elderly nuns. Dow's early career began in dance, performing on Broadway and teaching choreography long before film roles arrived. For years, she remained largely invisible in Hollywood, appearing briefly in films and television while supporting herself through teaching. It wasn't until her late 70s that Sister Act unexpectedly transformed her into a recognizable face, followed by a scene-stealing moment in The Wedding Singer, 1998. Despite late-life fame, Dow lived most of her life outside celebrity culture, avoiding scandals but enduring the quiet hardship of a career that bloomed far later than most. Ellen Albertini Dow passed away on May 4, 2015, at the age of 101. Sister Act may have made us laugh, but the lives behind those joyful performances tell a far deeper story. Through fame, illness, loss, and resilience, each cast member carried a journey far more complex than the roles they played. Thank you for watching. Stay with us as we continue to uncover the untold stories behind Hollywood's most unforgettable films.